Hi, my name is Dan Halsey, and I'm with United Designers and Southwoods Ecosystems, and we are actually here with the Global Earth Repair Conference, and we're interviewing people around the globe, getting their input about climate change, climate adaptation, and what their activities are in their area and how their country or their region is dealing with climate change and making adaptation. With me today is Sarah and Regina from Spain, our great organizers and co-interviewers on this. And Sarah is going to introduce our next guest.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Well, our next guests are Juan, Pedro, and Aline, and they are representing Permacultura Ibera, which is the Spanish network for permaculture. And they have a lot of projects and many things to tell us. Very interesting, all of them. And here's their time.
Hi. Thank you and welcome. Welcome to our interview here. So just to get started, as you know, we have these questions just based to ask you to kind of start the conversation, and then we can digress from there in many different directions. But the first one is we want to know is what are the trends in your area for climate change? And basically, if you could tell us what things used to be like, how things are now, and what direction you think climate change is going.
Well, the trend is probably pretty much globally recognizable, that we are going towards the most violent meteorological events. We're getting the same as in other places, as the torrential rainfalls get harder and harder impact on the terrain. We get the desertification spreading throughout the country. We've got the different bioregions suffering from water shortages. We've got floodings happening all around the country as well, including on the islands. So that's probably what's happening, and it's getting worse year after year.
Mm-hmm. And where are you located, actually? We should specify.
Yeah, well, we're talking for a country which is pretty diverse as well. We've got islands, we've got mountainous areas, we've got flatlands, we've got plateaus, etc. So I'm on the Balearic Islands, Mallorca. So that's kind of like a different bioregion altogether in the Mediterranean climate. And
yes, I come from more Mediterranean area, from Catalonia. But it's interesting because in Spain we have, for example, different rains from 200, 300 liters by year until 1,200 more or less. And for example, the last map that the government of Spain was the most weak area in Spain is the most humidity area, like Galicia. Galicia is the area where you can find very rainforest with a lot of rain during the year, and is the most weak area in this climate change because the forest and all the landscape is not prepared to get this impact, this meteorological phenomena, no? And it's so weak, really.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, we're getting some great input from the different areas of the country, and a lot of a pattern as we were seeing to develop too. So, as far as adaptation in your area, what would you say is the most important climate change adaptation that needs to take place?
Well, in this moment, we have a very big challenge about the certification. The more or less 20% of the land in Spain is already in this process. And the climate change also, we have some scenarios like the sea level grow up, and that means that affect to more or less 70% of the population. The 70% of the population of Spain living near to the coast areas. No? But in the same moment, you have the desertifications in the internal land, no? And that creates a mix. That creates a big challenge. And is one of the most important focus now to work, no? And is try to rehydrate the land, rehydrate the landscape, and also create social resilience, because we will have a very, very big, important impact in the social environment, and is something that we detect that there is not any political to get this to control, to management these scenarios. No, it's wow. Yes, we are talking about ecological agriculture. Good. We are talking about less petrol. Good. But what's happened with the people? What's happened with all these social movement, immigration? Not only about Spain, it's also about the North or Africa. What's happened with that? No, we're not thinking from Permacultura Ibera. We are not thinking only in our space. We are thinking in Mediterranean ecosystem, and Mediterranean ecosystem is so important area for the north of Europe and also for the north of Africa.
Sure.
And what's happened with that? And that is so wow, it's a big challenge. We need, and we try to develop different strategies to receive all the people directly from Africa, and also to respond our well, we are the garden vegetables of the north of Europe, and we need to respond to that. And it's a tricky point, really. It's not easy.
Right. And you know, I really appreciate you bringing that up, because putting these different words together is very important. So when we think of resilience, everybody's talking about the ecology, you know, resilient systems and things like that. But we also have to remember the human side of all of this, which is going to be the biggest adaptation for us, because it is us. And that's a resilient society, or social resilience, as you call it, is something that nobody's even talking about. And when we talk about adaptation, and we talk about preparing the land, there is a lot of preparation that needs to be done for people to understand. And would you say that, and this might be provocative, are people getting enough information to become resilient in what's happening?
Yes, and also it's the same pattern of this paradigm about the separation, about the human beings and about the nature. And we need to prepare the whole resilience. There are not any separations. We are one, and we depend on the nature depends on us, and we need to work in the one direction, the unity direction, and we need to work in this way. For us, we need to create a new culture. Right. To create a new culture, we need to work in everywhere, really, in everywhere. And it's in a whole challenge, in the whole work, and we need a lot of energy. But the vision must be that, must be the connection, and work this whole resilience, and try to understand in like a system everything that you see about around you. No?
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're right, and education is very important. And I know that Aline is doing something about education there in Mallorca. Maybe you can tell us a bit also.
Yes, well, that's one of the ways maybe we want to try and make it more visible in public society, I suppose, and work with the young people, starting very young. Maybe also look at what they are doing and what they are experiencing, like, for example, with the Fridays for Future movement, all these youngsters that are facing these terrible data, and where are they going with this? There's no hope for their future. Why should they study? So we're trying to make them more resilient from a young age, empower them to be responding to these challenges from a more holistic standpoint, I suppose. So yes, on Mallorca, we've got a project that is called Permacultura, bringing permaculture into the education, into the public curriculum. And this is one of the activities that we also see in Permacultura Ibera, is work within public education and try to get into all these strata, into all these social ambience.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds to me then go ahead.
Currently well received, I have to say, sorry.
Well, that's good. So from what I'm hearing from you, you're working very closely with basically the social structure, the education, and the human side, so that people understand basically what resilience is, what adaptation is needed at the same time. So and our third question is, what action has to be taken to avoid a serious tragedy with climate change? Would you say that it's that, or are there other things too?
Well, it's definitely a multidisciplinary approach, I would say. And in Permacultura Ibera, we've got several working groups. We're trying to work from a sociocratic strategy, as in we've got all these areas that we've identified where there is going to be a great crisis, like imminent. And those are the patterns that have come up out of the several convergences that we've been organizing over the last few years. So trying to work with them, and in those areas, we're trying to give immediate solutions and go practical, maybe small steps, but be practical on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we detected that the permaculture collective in Spain was into their little farms during a lot of years, developing very good solutions, but in a very a little scale, no? And we need to get this collective to develop the same solutions with the same pattern, but in the medium or large scale. And to have that, we need to empower the collective, not because the collective, we need to get together and build confidence and create community, and from there create more professionals groups, more professionals teams to really transform the landscape. And it's a little bit, it's a fine work. To create this group, this collective, and have the options to go into this big transformation that we need already. But we have some pictures about the work that we have. Then, if you want, we can show some of them.
Let's see that. Can you share your screen with us? And that'd be great to see.
It's important that the context that during a few years in Spain, there any conversations, any event to meet the collective, to permaculture collective, and from the 2015. Was the first conversions that we create, and in these conversions also we create also the Permacultura Ibera Academia, which create the diplomatura process. No? Maybe you want to explain more because you are more involved in the academia.
Yeah, the academy is one of those work groups under Permacultura Ibera. So we all try and work as independent entities, let's say, trying to go and work towards some of the problematics that we've identified. And going through this presentation now, we might repeat ourselves, but
yes, but that also is the certification. Okay, how we manage the landscape, the outside landscape, is the fractal about how we manage our inner landscape, and we detect that we need to reveal, we need to create community, and really we need to connect more people to create fertility, social fertility, And for that, we put a lot of energy to create this type of event, no? Like the different conversions, and not only estatal,
statewide, nationwide.
Not only nation, also bioregionals. No? For us, it's so important that.
So I think we're trying to connect the lone wolves who are fighting against the big challenges that are coming our way. And it's one of those things that we see after the initial permaculture design courses as well. People are very excited about having seen this new light and having shared time with others in a deep experience of feeling connected to the entire ecosystem. But after that, they go back to their own little ecosystem and they're like, oh, I'm fighting the system, I'm fighting my friends, I'm fighting my family, I'm having to explain myself all the time. So this support deficit syndrome is kind of spreading like an epidemic throughout the globe. We have more depression, we have more addiction, we have more disease, inflammation, etc. in general anyway. So creating community and sharing the good examples that are happening around the nation is a way of inspiring people and trying to empower people to go and do it and, you know, be the solution.
Yeah, the idea is not only by real connection between the people, you are going to start making a real change on society.
Yep. Yeah, and for that, we are working in how we design event like these ones. For example, in the beginning, you can see the physical work because it's very, well, it's a need so clear in this collective. But then when you grow up, the confidence, when you create this confidence and you create this, your physical, okay, I am right with that, I am good, okay. We put the people to work together and to create new ideas, to create these commune strategies, to design in groups, no, in teams, and then we have different harvests, no, in different ways. You can see in this graphics harvest, no, and also we had some digital harvest, and also another technique that we are developing is our fish bowl. Yes, the fish bowl is our techniques like well, from the facilitation work, is try to create a confidence space to express yourself, because we know already that there is a lot of permaculture projects, and there is a lot of persons in the end that have a problem, have obstacles, and when you share these problems, and when the people hear you, you feel more, well, you don't feel alone. And that is one of the more important feelings that we want to build, that you are not alone. And you can, because you have a group around you. And for us, that is the basic feeling that we try to create, because it's the basic feeling to create this resilience. The forest is not a powerful ecosystem only for each tree. The forest is powerful because it's a team, it's a group. And each tree know that it's not alone. And that is the point. And in each event, we try to reinforce this feeling. You are not alone. Okay, and in this type of events, we create this society structure, and with different teams works, and each team create different goals. No, for example, could you explain that?
Yeah, well, one of the teams is working on sharing resources and sharing information and making more visible the good examples that are out there, because this is something that May East, for example, also told us. May East from Gaia Education. If you want to convince people, you have to make the good results more visible. So demo sites and any projects that are actually making it happen, get them out into the world, because the people that are doing it on the ground, they often don't have time to document their own work and inspire people. So Permacultura Ibera is trying to offer them a platform, is going around and making little visual documents on what they're doing and what's happening out there to inspire others to do the same and to get together. So other goals that Permacultura Ibera has is working together with organizations that are working towards the same vision, which is, for example, in this case, the Transition Town Network. We have a national network as well, La Red de Transición, and Permacultura Ibera has been working together with them in Barcelona.
Yes, it's the concept about permeability. We need to create a system which is permeability to another systems like transition towns, like Fridays for Future, like Extinction Rebellion, like agroecologic movement, like official agriculture movement. We need to open our system.
Yeah, integrate rather than segregate. Also work with local initiatives, as small as they may be, like, for example, this market where they had a testing of the local tomatoes and one had to be the winner. So that was one of the local events that we supported at the conversions last year. We went and visited the town and had a lot of fun.
Okay, are you having any support from the government for your initiative?
No.
Right now, Permacultura Ibera as such, no, but we might add not yet, because it's one of the goals as well, to search for public funding and to find ways and to investigate if there are any synergies at all that we can work on.
Yes, but for us, it's important to, in the beginning, the first 5 years that we already done it, is this first step that create collective and encourage this collective to grow up, to be more mature. No? And then the next step is go to knock the door to government, to different entities, and because in the beginning it was okay with this collective. I think it's not good marketing way to go to knock the door, because we are nothing in the beginning. We are.
But on the other hand, the government is also already knocking on our door. We've got the Permaculture and Education Days happening soon in May in Barcelona, which is an event supported by the town of Barcelona. We have, now I'm speaking for Permamed on Mallorca, we have connections there as well with the institutions. So I think it is a time where a lot is shifting, and it might be a moment in which to become more visible and go out with our actions.
So you are finding that the public authorities and education are more, they are more into permaculture, more into letting this new knowledge get in than other parts.
The word in itself is also being used now at greater scale. It's becoming more a household word. It's been used at the COP meeting, etc. So permaculture is no longer that freaky word from the 70s that nobody really meant.
Yeah.
So permaculture itself is coming out of isolation as more people start using it. And I really liked your term about support deficient syndrome or deficiency syndrome. It's like that's a good term for commonly what people, when they start thinking differently and start doing things differently, like you mentioned. Now, like you say, constantly explaining it to family, friends, everybody that you're dealing with. And it can be very isolating, but also it takes a huge amount of energy away from you to do that. So that, like, it sounds like you're putting together a great support system all across the country, and then of course locally in these different areas for people too, because it's tough, you know, to try and make these changes.
Yeah, Daniel, and also the next step is create for us the groupal culture, about when we have confidence between us. Now we need to know how we can organize it, how we can have a good vision, how we can take care of the group process. No, because we detect that another point of this type of group is we have a lot of technical knowledge, but when we need to work together with another type of group, with transitions or governments, or it's the same. We don't have enough tools to do it. Mm-hmm. And cultural group is create consensus, see the another, see the process, create goals, and design the steps that I need to go with these goals. And that is for us is a very important knowledge and information to create.
Yeah, because you can have these goals and that, but you have to know how to get there, and that takes a lot of deep thinking, research, education along the way.
Deep adaptation to keep the desertification outside of the inner landscape as much as outside.
Yes.
Wow.
And we detect also some resistance about that, because this type of structures, this type of wars, even is some people say, oh, that is from company, that is capitalist. No, I don't want. But come on, and it's a whole world try to create this consensus speech and create this. I don't know. Well, for me, this group feeling. No, I'm not against you. I'm not here about you. No. I'm here to build with you, and it's not easy, but it's not impossible. And we are here working to do that.
Right. Well, thank you for your time, and I would really like to continue this conversation again, because your insights about what you're saying about the inner landscape and the outer landscape, desertification of ourselves, all these things. I feel a lot of energy in that we need to expand on. So hopefully we can talk about that again in the future. So I want to thank you for your time and your presentation, and Sarah and Regina once again too. But thank you again, and look forward to having more conversations.
Muchas gracias y buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Hasta la próxima.
Bye.
Yes.
Yes.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.